Bob Blumer here, and I'd like to give you a quick tutorial on how to break down a chicken. Now I'm not talking about interrogating it until it starts to whimper. I'm talking about starting with a whole chicken and cutting it into pieces that you can bake, fry, or grill. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of cutting it up, let's just have a quick conversation about why you should go out of your way to buy a sustainably raised, consciously raised chicken like this beautiful Rosie that I have in front of me. Sure, they're all a little bit more expensive, but what are you getting? You're getting a humanely raised chicken. You're supporting fair wages for farm workers. You're being good to the environment, and from a chef's perspective, the most important thing is you're getting a better tasting bird. All right, so here's what you need to get started. You need a whole chicken that you've washed and patted down dry. You need a solid cutting surface, and you need a sharp knife. It doesn't have to be a fancy schmancy knife, just a nice, sharp, non-threatening knife. Take your knife, and the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna cut off the legs and the thighs, all right? So we go in like this and cut down. Really, the beautiful thing about separating the parts of a chicken is that if you go into the right spots, it kind of naturally falls apart for you. And all it takes is a few little slices here and there. So as you see, I'm cutting down around the skin and the meat here, and then I'm just gonna take the leg and snap it. And as you can see right there, I've exposed the joint. There's, a bone here and the joint here. And once I've done that, I can just go in and cut around that. And there we go. I've got my first piece, this thigh and leg. And I'm just gonna put these here. Do the same thing on this side. Just grab it and snap. I'm exposing the joint. Cut around it, and there we go. Now we're going to take the wings off. Take the wings off. Just cut around the joint there. You see, just pops right out. These two joints separate, and boom, our wing is done. Same thing on this side. Cut around, expose that joint, and there we go. And now, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take out the backbone. So to take out the backbone, we set it on its back. So originally it was set upright. We set it on its back, and you can see that there's a nice little layer of fat that runs here, runs right along here. So we're gonna cut the fat here, cut through the fat on this side, and this whole backbone is going to pop right out. Now you can do this with a knife. You can also do it with a pair of kitchen shears. Okay, and now same thing along this side. And boom, just like that. We've got our back. Now, we're not gonna cook with this, but this is a fantastic part of the chicken to make homemade chicken stock with. And chicken stock is so fantastic because you take a few pieces of chicken, you can just throw them in your freezer until you've got enough added up to make a big pot of stock. And then once you've got enough chicken, you take some tired onions, some tired celery, maybe that old carrot in the back of your fridge, and that's pretty well all you need to make some gorgeous homemade stock. And the best part about it is it's free. And nothing tastes better than free. All right, last step, we're gonna separate the breast. And so now I have the breast lying on the skin side, on its back essentially, and I'm just taking my knife and just cutting through the backbone. And there we go. Now it's really important for this recipe that you're protecting the skin. So you wanna make sure that you're keeping it protected like that. Now, one last step. We've cut this chicken into 6 pieces. We can also go one step further and take the leg and the thigh and separate them if you want to. So you go in, you look for the joint, you can feel it there. You just cut through it, and now I've got my perfect thigh and my perfect drumstick. And for the breast, all you're really gonna do is cut it in half straight through the bone. Just cut through and then boom, like that. And there you go. You have the choice of cutting out the thighs and the legs and the breast in half or leaving them whole. So I've done one of each here. And that's it. Super simple, you know, not really any big trick to it, and very forgiving. If you cut it a little bit too much this way or a little bit too much that way, some of you will get a slightly larger piece, but that's it. Anyways, now you've got your beautiful chicken, totally broken down and ready for the next step.